Hey, can I get 4 quarter-pounders, please? Awesome. Thank you. Hi.
Yeah, 4 quarter-pounders?
Yeah.
Okay, it's gonna be $19.69.
Okay. It's not even cheap. Well, this brings back some memories. Yeah. This wasn't just some sarcastic thing, okay? I'm not going to eat these 4 quarter-pounders, but I'm not just trying to be a total smart aleck here. I actually wanted to prove a point and talk about something. And a lot of you know my story, but a lot of you don't. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on my story. I just want you guys to realize that when you watch my videos, I'm not just some dude that has always been healthy, right? Haven't always been healthy, haven't always been fit. I was 280 pounds. I wasn't just a little overweight. I was a lot overweight. And what I just did there through the drive-thru was part of my daily routine for the most part. I mean, I went there a lot. And the thing is that I wanted to be able to address 3 things that I've learned in my transformation. Okay, 3 things that are a little bit different from what you might normally think. You're normally thinking like, oh, I learned that the keto diet can help me lose weight, or intermittent fasting can help me lose weight, or this and that. The reality is those things changed my life. They saved my life, quite honestly. But you hear about those in every single video that I do. What about what was really going on in Thomas's head and how I grew from that? Because it's a real deal. And whether you are someone that's just getting fit or someone that is just trying to lose 100 pounds, like, the reality is still there. It's still the same. And I have to do this just for the sake of doing it, but you're tuned into the internet's leading performance, nutrition, and fat loss channel. So we got new videos every single Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday at 7 a.m. Pacific time, and a bunch of other videos throughout the week as well. So if you hit that subscribe button, you'll make sure you never miss a beat. But also hit that little bell icon so you can turn on notifications so you always get notified whenever I post a new video or go live or anything like that. So what I'm doing right now is sitting in my car with 4 quarter-pounders. Although that's a little excessive, a little extreme, it's pretty much what I used to do. And it brings back such scary memories. It was a part of my life. Like, I used to sit in my car and just be quiet and be sad and kind of wallow in my own pity, simply because it was me and the food, and that was it. And my relationship with food was superseding every other relationship in my life. I used to drive to the other side of town so that I could go through the drive-thru and eat a burger or a taco or whatever away from people that directly knew me, as if they couldn't look at me being 280 pounds and figure out that I was probably eating fast food. I still wanted to hide it because I was in denial. So the first thing that I learned through my transformation was that I had to come to grips with my denial. And what I mean by that is I had to accept the fact that what was in my mind, perception, was reality. So they say that perception is reality for a reason, right? It's like whatever you look at with something, however you see something is however you make it. And I realized that once I changed my perception, things could change. But until then, my perception of myself was sad and depressed. So I was sad and depressed. My perception of myself was someone that would hide in my car eating fast food or eating anything. And that was my reality. So I became a sad, hidden individual. I became more introverted than I had ever been in my life. And it all started sitting right here in my car. The shape of my body was probably the shape of my car seat. Like, I would spend so much time eating in there, driving. It was just the way it was. So I learned that I needed to embrace the denial, right? I needed to understand what was going on. And honestly, this is so cliche, but I mean, accepting and understanding that you're in denial is probably the biggest step towards anything. I mean, it's any part of any healing program is you have to accept that denial and understand it and realize that you're going to go through it. But when you start going through making changes, the denial becomes even more real. Then you start realizing how much your identity has just been created through this shell of a person that you were, right? Now, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that, but I just want to touch on that because I know there's a lot of people watching this video that have been there and get it. And for those of you that don't understand it, then maybe you haven't been there, but hopefully this at least resonates with you a little bit to get a point across that I'm human and I've been there. Okay, the next thing that I've learned, or that I couldn't stand, okay, was that how much intimacy played a role in my healing. This sounds weird, right? I've been with my wife since high school, like really. And when I was overweight, my libido was just garbage. I was destroyed. I had no libido. Now, the question was my libido down because I was physically unhealthy and didn't have good libido, or was my self-esteem so low that I just didn't have libido? The world may never know. I mean, the blood work shows that I was pretty unhealthy, and I'm sure that played a role, but I actually like to think that it was more mental than anything. And after step one and the denial was kind of changed, I was able to really take the steps that I needed to take in order to feel better and look better, right? So the intimacy with my wife was better. The intimacy, it just allowed me to feel better about myself. And then it's perpetual, right? It's, again, perception is reality. As you start seeing yourself in a different light, that becomes reality, and it just compounds and compounds and compounds until next thing you know, you look down and you're not even the same person. And that's what was so cool. It's like I went through this massive transformation and I didn't even realize it until like one random day. I knew I was losing weight, but it wasn't like I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm on my goals, I'm hitting my goals, I'm here. It was like one day, like, whoa, I'm a different person. And then I look back and just so different. Everything's just so wild. So I know that this might not reign with everybody, right? It might not reign true to everybody. Not everyone is in a relationship. Not everyone has a significant other. And I respect that and understand that. My situation was different. I had a support system. I had my wife there, and I understand that not everyone was there. But the topic isn't about intimacy or libido. It's talking about really more so how once you have support in a different way, and once you understand how that works, then everything comes full circle. Everything starts to improve. Libido improves. Sex drive improves, all that stuff, and it's all part of it. So the other thing that I really wanted to touch on was it wasn't about the fat loss, and it wasn't about the extra fat that was on me. I mean, the physical reason for why I was trapped in that shell of a man that I was really because of inflammation. Now, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Stress causes inflammation. Stress, therefore, causes you to eat more, and the certain kinds of foods or obesity in general triggers inflammation. Inflammation was the root of everything. When you have two neural synapses or two neurons, okay, and there's the synaptic cleft in between them. You got two neurons that are sending a signal, right, to each other. They're communicating. We have so many, just a labyrinth of different neural connections in our body. That's what creates just a network of so many different decisions and thought processes. Okay, think trillions and trillions of these, right, that just can dictate which path we go. And when there's inflammation in your brain, these neurons can't communicate with each other. Their signal is disrupted literally by inflammation. And that's what people don't understand is unhealthy foods and fast food and things like that. We are living in a cesspool of inflammation and we don't make the right decisions. Okay, there's an old saying that says your brain wires where it fires. Okay, and what that's referring to is the more that you do something, the more that your brain develops these just simple pathways to just go that route. Well, if you don't have inflammation, your neurons can communicate with other neurons much easier. But when you do have inflammation, your neurons can only communicate with the neurons that there's already a set, paved, hardcore path for, because it's too much work to go to the other neurons. So it just goes down the same rut. How many times have you left the office and said that you were going to eat something clean, but you still end up going through the drive-thru? Right? Those of you that know what I'm talking about really know what I'm talking about. Hopefully those of you that don't and haven't been there never end up going there. And hopefully you don't hate on me or hate on anyone else that has experienced that, because it's a real thing. And when your brain has so much inflammation in it that you can't make these decisions right, it's so easy to just be on that hamster wheel. So at the very least, hopefully this video can be that breaking point for you. Inflammation is everything. Now, people make fun of me because I'm the keto guy. Okay, the reality is keto came into my life for the modulation of inflammation, period. I wanted to control inflammation, and it was a heck of a lot easier to do that than to consume anti-inflammatory smoothies or to go on an autoimmune diet where I was removing everything out of my diet. Okay, here's the thing, guys. You got to remember, I was in the healthcare world. I worked with thousands of doctors. Okay, I was in that space. I knew what had to be done. I wasn't an idiot. I knew that I was fat. I knew that it wasn't good going to McDonald's, but my brain was just conditioned to just keep doing it. So I knew that the epicenter for it all was inflammation. And if I could control that, then I could make the change. So when I am talking in my videos about modulating dairy and controlling certain things to watch out for inflammation, it's not because I'm using a $10 word. It's because that's how you make a change. Okay? If you can control that, the trickle-down effect is just amazing. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with these quarter pounders, to be honest. I don't know if anybody really could get a benefit out of having it. I don't even know if a homeless person would have a benefit out of eating something like this. But for now, just the smell in my car brings me back down memory lane. And I'm gonna end this video so I can roll down my windows and get some natural, fresh air that I want. And as always, guys, if you have ideas for more of these videos, just put them in the comment section. I like doing vlogs. I like doing this style of thing. It's fun, it's different. I love the car talk. I love talking while I'm just in my truck, being real. It takes a break from the studio, it takes a break from the usual stuff that I talk about. But it also gives everyone a quick reminder that I'm human and that I've been there and that my transformation was real. And I learned a lot from it, and that's why I am who I am today and why I do what I do. So as always, keep it locked in here on my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.